Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heaven on Earth. I'm Aquarian Humanitarian, and it's truly a blessing to have you with us today. Each week, we come together to explore consciousness, spirituality, ancient wisdom, personal transformation, and the ideas that can help us create a more awakened world, one conversation at a time. Joining me is my co host, Sir Tato Malay, the founder of Kamalayan movement. Kamalayan means consciousness in the Philippines. For many years, he has dedicated his life to helping people deepen their awareness and discover their true nature. Together, our intention isn't to tell you what to believe, rather, we invite you to explore, reflect, ask questions, and discover what resonates with your own experience. So, wherever you're listening from, thank you for spending this time with us. Now, let's begin today's conversation.
Thank you, Aquarian Humanitarian, and welcome everyone. We hope today's discussion offers insights that inspire you and that will also encourage reflection and support you in terms of your growth and consciousness. So
Right.
just stay tuned and let's dive into our topic for today. Our topic for today is about how do we understand really the universe. When we say the universe is inside us,
Mhm.
what does it really mean when we say the universe is inside us? Or
Yeah,
when Jesus also mentioned that the kingdom of God is within, are they
that's right.
related? Yep. Okay. So basically, that's our main topic for today. And again, welcome to Heaven on Earth. And this is the reason why we're discussing all these topics now, because we want you to understand exactly how to create this heaven on earth. Because people are looking outside, whether they would see
Yes.
already heaven materializing. But it's not going to happen like that. It doesn't
Yes.
really entail that kind of a process. What happens is everything starts from within. So, how do you feel right now? Are you happy? Are you feeling enlightened? Do you feel in harmony with practically with everyone and with everything? So those are the components of what we want to now discuss here. Because unless we experience it from within, we cannot experience it without or from, I mean, in outside, I mean, in our environment, in terms of what we normally say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Is that right? I think that's
As the
correct. So,
universe, so the soul.
yes, so practically we project everything outside, starting from within. So it doesn't happen from outside, and then we experience it to what we want to expect from what we see. And normally, what you see outside is already a reflection of how you are viewing that universe inside you, or that heaven inside you, or that world. Okay, maybe we have to now dissect everything. We are creating a world, individual worlds, to be more exact, because my world is different from everyone's world, because we experience a lot of different things
That's right.
in terms of how we live our life. We don't experience the same things. We don't normally wake up at the same time. We don't normally eat the same thing. So we experience things differently. So our worlds are different from one another, from each other. So we are creating our own world. So how do we start creating our world? And to be more specific, how do we create heaven on earth, heaven in our world? So what do you do now? what is it that we really normally do with our life? What is our main entertainment? Do we watch television programs that actually would depict violence, hatred, all these negative things, and then he'll tell us or he'll tell me that's exactly what you enjoy watching. So if that's exactly what you enjoy watching, well, that is what is going to be reflected in your world. And so if it happens in exactly the same manner as to how you actually enjoy your entertainment of violence, now, would you now be surprised? Maybe you will be surprised and you'll say, wow, why is it like this? Why is God punishing me? Now, who is punishing you? That's the real question there. God does not do anything. I mean, in terms of who we are, we have free will. We have our own choices that we can
Mhm.
make. And God says, okay, if that's what you want, go for it. And so it is. God always says yes to us. And so this is not exactly what we want God to do for us because God will not do anything for us. What we want to do for ourselves is what God wants for us. That's why he would always say, oh, okay, if that's what you want, enjoy it, uh, expect more of it, have more. So, and then when you actually now suffer from what you are experiencing, and then now you are telling God, why is it like this? Why am I having this kind of a negative thing? I mean, why are you punishing me? No, who's punishing who? Is that exactly the work of God? Of course not. And this is where a lot of people really are not in terms of what they were taught in church or in religion. They were not that
Mhm.
informed about exactly what happens in reality because it is us
Yes,
who create our own reality, our consciousness. So
absolutely.
this is how we create heaven on earth by experiencing heaven within first, inside us,
Mhm.
within us first. And so if we don't experience it in that manner, we will not expect it happening outside in the real world that we are saying that we live in a real world. But another question here is which is which really? Which is the real world? The one we see outside or the one we experience when we are awake or the one we experience when we are asleep? So how are you now going to compare it? Are your dreams more real than your actual experiences when you're awake, or vice versa? So people think that what is real for them is what they experience during those times when they are awake. But if we tell you that is not exactly true, would you not
Mhm.
be shocked? Because
Yep.
everything is inside us. We are just projecting it outside. So the universe is really inside us. That's the real, that's the main point of our discussion of our topic for today. It's inside us. So the next question people will ask is, what do you mean it's inside us? It's too enormous. It's too big. How can it be inside me? Because I'm just, you know, small and I'm just here experiencing whatever I'm experiencing. So how can you say the entire universe is inside me? But that is exactly what it means. The entire universe, the entire galaxies, exactly everything are inside us. So the question here is where? How do we experience it? Now, what you see outside is a reflection of how you see your universe inside.
Mhm.
So that's the real answer. So, do you understand now why you live your life this way? because it all starts from within. All right. So you will say, but I'm just imagining things. I'm just, imagining it. And then somehow it becomes a reality. Exactly. The
Hmm.
more you imagine, the better it is that your reality would materialize. Because if you're not good in imagining things, your desires will not manifest into reality. That's how we actually create everything outside our life. We create through our imagination, through our through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our beliefs. So we have to now be careful with what we are thinking, what we are imagining, because those are the things we are going to experience in our real world. Well, when I say real world, open close quotation mark, real, because it's not exactly real. It's more of an illusion because it's just a reflection. It's a mirror. The real world is inside us. So if you want to change anything outside, you cannot do anything. You cannot do it. You cannot do that. You cannot change it. You can only change it from inside us. That's the real way of doing it. So again, you will have your doubts. You will say, but I cannot imagine it that the entire universe is really inside me, or the kingdom of God is inside me, or heaven is inside me. How can that be? Well, as I've said, everything is inside us. That's a given. And all you have to do is now to choose whatever frequency you would want to create. Now, what when we talk of frequency, because everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. So everything vibrates inside us. Everything is energy that is inside us. Everything is frequency that's also inside us. So we make a choice as to how to create that frequency that we want to materialize outside. Now, let's, for example, say we want to have that frequency of abundance, a lot of money. So where do you now look for money? Outside? From other people? From the government to give you something? Of course not. That's not exactly how we do it. It again starts from within. How do you look at your life in terms of who you are? Do you think you are wealthy? Do you think you are happy having what you want right now? Or are you complaining inside you about what you have at this point in time? Because if you're complaining, that means you're not happy with what you have or what we are now experiencing inside. Because that is exactly what is going to materialize outside, that unhappiness. And so we are just creating everything from inside us. This is exactly what we want people to understand. That what we see now happening, even the impeachment proceedings right now, they're just coming from the negative, I would say, uh, I would say, the negative vibration from everyone who are
Collectively.
participating collectively in this impeachment process. Now, if you're enjoying watching all these proceedings and you get to feel uh, you get angry when you don't want, if you don't hear the right things that you would want to hear, and you're affected by it. I mean, that's exactly what is going to now materialize more in your life because you are a participant now of the collective consciousness of the negativity that's prevailing as a result of what we're now seeing outside. So again, it's all inside. Okay, now what do you mean it's inside? I mean, whatever you think of, whatever you imagine, it's all there. Can you imagine it in terms of the color, the description in detail? All right, maybe, all right. Well, this is an advanced observation, but if you really want to experience, maybe, for example, how can I experience going to other planets, going to other universes. And somehow there are ways to do it, but I don't suggest it because if it's not done properly, you might not do it. You might not get the desired reaction that you would want. And this is what we normally call it the plant medicine. Like, for example, ayahuasca. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But if you take that ayahuasca, actually it's called ayahuasca from plants, and somehow this is something that I would say um, uh, available or prevalent in some countries. I don't know, maybe in these Mediterranean countries where they are planting them or they have them in abundance. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is, if you take that particular thing, it's maybe you can look at it as a drug. And if you take it, what happens is there's something that makes your mind see something that you have or that you normally don't see. Okay, what happens is I think it opens layers upon layers of I would say places in terms of what's inside us, in terms of the real universe that's really inside us. If you really want to see, I'm just citing this as an example because, I mean, if we cannot see it from the inside, we cannot actually see it from the outside. So everything starts from the inside. But there are other people who would want to experience it from the inside by using this drugs or this DMT, plant medicine or ayahuasca. Now, what they experience is when they take it, of course, somebody's guiding them. What happens is they see in their mind a lot of, uh, well, I would say not familiar things, because as I've said, it opens already different dimensions in us. It opens our minds to something that we've never really had experience in the past. So that is exactly what it does to us. Now, that's exactly telling, that's, I mean, my point in telling you this is because I want to tell you that everything is already inside us. All the planets are inside us. But again, as to how to see it inside us, as I've said, there are ways, but I don't recommend that at this point in time. But as I've said, if you are able to open your pineal gland, if you're able to open your third eye, you will see already a lot of these things happening in your life. And that's why you can say there are some people when they can see things that others cannot see because their third eye is open or their pineal gland is open. And so the question again here is, how do you open your third eye? And that's another way of there are ways of doing it, but it's through meditation, through I would say I would say eating the right food for that matter, because I think, like for example, the pineal gland, if you actually brush your teeth with fluoride, that is exactly a thing that prevents your pineal gland from what I mean from being able to open up, because it actually blocks the pineal gland in so many ways. So again, as I've said, everything is inside us. I'm just rattling off whatever I I would be able to think at the moment. That's why I'm able to talk about all these things at different times. But again, as I've said, everything is inside us. Now, we have discussed energy, vibration, and frequency. And we are talking about consciousness as well. What we want to experience in our outside world is what we create from inside us by using energy, frequency, and vibration, and consciousness. Understanding consciousness, there are two levels of consciousness: the low level, the low consciousness, and the higher consciousness, the high consciousness. And the low consciousness, where a lot of us are practically enjoying enjoying their lives, is in the lower consciousness, or the low consciousness, where we experience hatred, violence, jealousy, envy, scarcity, poverty, disease, all the negative things. And this is something that we complain about. But exactly, why do we choose to be on that level of consciousness? There's a choice that we can make. Why don't we choose the higher level of consciousness, where we can experience love, harmony, peace, understanding, hope, success, abundance, whatever that you would consider positive? It's all there. It's all a matter of choice. So why do we choose to stay on the low level of consciousness? And if you stay on that level of consciousness, that is where you are vibrating. Everything that you're feeling, your anger, your emotions of of uh, negativity, those are vibrations that you are now vibrating at the moment. And since you are vibrating that, it searches for a certain frequency for it to materialize in your outer world. And that's exactly what happens. And so when you vibrate constantly on that level of negativity, it looks for that negative frequency where it will match. And that's exactly that you will be experiencing. So there's no lack. I mean, we're not talking of luck here. We're not talking of chamba. We're not talking of malas. We're talking of choices. Because people think, hmm, I always get bad luck. I mean, I always get all the negative things. Why are you experiencing that? That means you are choosing to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that is basically happening to you just because it happened at random. No, or by accident. There are no accidents in the universe. It happened because you chose to be experiencing that. So there's no one to blame except yourself. Maybe at this point you can add to what I'm saying here
Okay. There seems to be a construction going on. Can you hear that noise or no?
in your place. No,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
you can hear me
there's
fine.
also there's also construction going on in our neighbor's house, but
Okay.
I hope you don't hear it.
Yes.
So I don't
No,
think it's
you,
disturbing us.
okay, good. Because I was going to put this on pause and I was going to call it in. But anyway, if you're not hearing it, good.
No, no,
That
I have not.
means,
I haven't heard anything yet.
all right, very
No,
good.
nothing.
So we're gonna move forward. Um, I just want to add something in regards to because some people think that they don't have a choice, but they actually do. And the thing is, they make an excuse. They make an excuse as to why they can't make a decision towards what it is that they want. So some of those things is because there's a struggle between what you really want and your ego or your pride or what's norm in your circle, right? It's not, it does not resonate. Whatever it is that you probably want, it's not resonating with your environment. So, but at the end of the day, You have to make that decision, but you always have the power to choose. So never say you don't have the power because that's an excuse. Another thing that I wanted to say is just another example of how, because Tato's been talking about how we manifest things, right? So we manifest things in the unseen world first, and then we see it in the seen world. So the spiritual, and then the physical reality, the material world. So I just want to give a good example of the inventors of airplane, the Wright brothers from, I think they're in Ohio. And they didn't stop until their plan was materialized. So the Wright brothers had this vision of the airplane flying. And, after so many tries, finally it manifested. So the thing that's happening with us is we doubt ourselves. And then when we doubt ourselves, then we stop. We stop the process of manifesting. When that happens, you start over again. You go back to ground zero and you have to start over again. So what you need to do is uh, really decide on what it is that you want. Write it down if you have to, and focus on one thing that you want at a time and work on that because it gets very chaotic when you have so many things. Just focus on one right now. And then because it takes time. It takes time because we're here in the 3D world. The manifestation takes time because it's very dense here. Whereas in the higher realm, you think about it and then it manifests. It doesn't work like that here. So just all I'm saying is just never doubt yourself. Pick one that you want to manifest on, and then see the end result. And right now you're thinking your thoughts should be of that you're already living that kind of life that you're trying to manifest, and you're very grateful, right? We always say this. It seems like we say this every session. You think, you feel, you act, you speak as if you're already living your best life and you're grateful. The practice of gratitude is very important. That's it. That's all I have in my notes here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And well, to add more to that, all right. So, what kind of a life should we really look into? Okay. In terms of how we live our life, uh, when we deal with society, we actually deal with four areas. And what are those four areas? We deal with our health area. That's one thing that we need to really take care of our health, because if we're not healthy, I mean, even if you earn a lot of money, I mean, your money will not amount to anything that you will enjoy because of your ill health. So you really have to take care of your health so that you can enjoy whatever you can accumulate or you can buy with your money. And the second area that you have to now look into is your relationship area. Your, your uh, yeah, your relationship area. When you say relationship, the first relationship that you really have to look into is with yourself. Because if you don't actually know who you are and you're not happy with what you think, according to what you are living in terms of why you're living in this particular way, that means you have to now address that situation because you cannot move on to a healthier relationship if you are not able to first fix your own relationship with yourself. So you have to take a look at yourself as to what makes you happy and what makes you uh, desire. What are your desires practically? What are your dreams? What do you want to do with your with the rest of your life for that matter? Now the thing is, when we look at ourselves, we don't normally agree in terms of what we get to find out because we often deny many of the negative things that we really are living with in terms of who we are. Now, who would notice the negative attributes or the negative things that we have? It's not us because for us, we're just normal the way we act or the way we do things. It's other people who actually get to react with you and they tell you that, hey, we don't like you because you are like this, because you're like that. And so, because of that, we even hate the person telling us exactly what they don't like in us. But exactly, we should thank them. We should love them more because they are telling us what to change, what we should change in us. So that's that's one way of finding out exactly what we should change in us. What people think about us, why people are not happy with us when we are around them. So we have to take note of that because we cannot just say that, well, I don't mind, I don't care about who you are because I'm just being me. Yes, that's correct. I mean, we're supposed to be that way. But then again, many times, maybe we are offending a lot of other people as a result of these negative things inside us because for us, we don't see it in terms of it harming other people, but maybe it does do harm to them as well. So we have to take a look at that, and vice versa also. What we don't like in other people, what we see in other people that we don't agree with or we don't like. Exactly, those are the things that are supposed to be inside us as well. Those they are just telling us what we should be changing in us. It's a reminder, actually, because you wouldn't notice it. You wouldn't pay attention to what you have seen if you never really are experiencing also inside that. I mean, inside you. So that's a warning for you to be able to discern as to what to really change in you, and be happy that you are able to discover that. Don't deny it. Don't deny them. Because a lot of people would deny and say, no, that's not me. That's not true. But again, why not? I mean, why don't you try looking at it from another point of view, another perspective? Maybe there's really something that we need to change because all these negative things will affect every outcome of our manifestations. That's why maybe you would complain later on, how come I'm not manifesting that not I mean that abundance that I am actually desiring? Uh, how do you look at yourself first? That's exactly the main question that will be asked. And maybe inside us we have that scarcity problem. Or from childhood we were programmed that many of the things that we now believe in were taught to us by people, or especially by our parents, who said, you know, money is the root of all evil. Money will not bring you happiness. Money will just put you in this negative situation. So, if you believe that, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. So we have to check on our programming, our beliefs. So, okay, relationship with ourselves, and of course, relationship with others. So that's the second one. The third one is our career. I mean, okay, what do we do with our career. Now the question here is, why did you take up a course in college that you thought will enable you to make your life, uh, I would say, happy or stable? Now, maybe there's another way of looking at it because many times we were not doing exactly what we were supposed to do because the choice maybe of our careers or our course was not exactly our own choice. It was the choice of other people, especially maybe our parents who chose it for us because they said, "Oh, you take this course because there's a lot of money there. You take up nursing because you can go abroad if you take up nursing." And so you take up nursing. And one thing pala, you're afraid of blood. You're afraid of sick people. And so what do you do now if you are in that career? I mean, if you're in that profession, you cannot not touch exactly your patients because you are supposed to be caring for them, giving them that attention, that health care attention. So we have made a lot of wrong choices because maybe we were not aware of it, but we were programmed in such a way that we accepted it. And so now is the time to ask ourselves, are we happy doing our job at this point in time? Or if not, if you now discover that you're not happy, there's now this opportunity for you to discover exactly what you can do about your your problem or that situation. And this is exactly what was that taught in school. We all of us have our own gifts, talents. I mean, we were given that when we were born. Maybe it wasn't exactly given, but because of our evolution, in terms of our different incarnations already, so many times we have incarnated, here on Earth, we have already developed that kind of a thinking that we are now are so good at it, and so at this point in time, that is our expertise. So we have to take a look at that. I mean, our past lives, if we are able to discern that, who were, who are we? And maybe that's exactly the question now. What are you happy doing? If you will be doing something, what is it that you are happy about? And that is exactly what we have to pursue in terms of developing the talent, the the intelligence, I mean the gift. So exactly, it's already in us as well. It's inside us. We cannot look for it outside. We cannot say, I would like to become like this other person. We cannot compare because that's exactly what we had been doing in the past. We had been comparing ourselves with successful people. We tried to imitate. And so the finally, when we were able to accomplish what they were able to accomplish, our question was, or our question is, why am I not happy? I have already done this. I've done that. I have accumulated this. I have somehow achieved this, but I'm still not happy. So exactly, why are you not happy? Because you never really develop your gift because that's not who you are. To find out who you are, you have to know what your special gift is and develop that. It's not too late. At this point in time, if you are now a senior citizen and you are still looking for that kind of life that you would want to achieve, now is the best time to really look inside us. What is my talent? What is my gift? And I want. If I have that, if I have already recognized it, what can I do with it? Maybe I have to develop it at this point in time. Why not? It's great. I mean, start as a hobby. You can start it as a hobby first, and then eventually, if you're too good at it, it can become a career, a profession. Like many of the singers never really started out as professional singers. They were just singing as a hobby, and then people told them, "Oh, you're so good, you can become a professional singer." And so when they recognized that particular um, um, level already, so they pursued now a level, another level for their way of expressing exactly their gift. You have to express your gift. You cannot just let go of something that's too precious in our life. Each of us were given a gift. We have to develop that. And so again, love, relationship. I mean, okay, relationship with family. I mean, what is it that you are now experiencing with your family? Are you happy with with your with other family members that you have? If not, maybe there has to be work that's supposed to be done in terms of, well, reconciling with them. But even if, for example, you say, well, I just chose to be born into that, but I don't expect to live my life entirely with them forever. Well, that's it. If you are able to realize that, no problem with that, because it can be you will find your happiness elsewhere. But again, you have to make amends with your family members. You have to forgive who whoever you have to forgive, or really just accept them as your soul group, or your soulmates for that matter. You came here into this world to be with them in the first place because you chose them, because you wanted to create a life that would start or emanate from wherever you are with them, and they welcomed you. And so they performed roles that could develop you in whatever character you would want to develop into, because you have agreed. You told them, okay, you be hard on me because I want to grow in this particular area. So you give me all the opportunities that will make me cha- feel challenged whenever I'm with you. And that's exactly how people are in terms of who they are in our life, because we chose them to be there in the first place, because we wanted them to help us out in our growth here in this world. So if you don't understand that, you will just hate people and not knowing exactly why they were there in the first place. And they were there, you asked them to be there. You
Exactly.
chose them to be there. And they performed their duty. And they said, that's why I'm here, because of you. I'm not going to be here if it were not for you.
Hmm.
And somehow you ignore them. But again, this is not exactly taught to us correctly by religion. That's why we are now explaining it this in this manner, because we want harmony with everyone. We want to create that heaven on earth really perfectly, in terms of now really feeling it, enjoying it, and you know experiencing it the way it should be. So exactly, this is where we are in terms of what we can do with our inner life, with what we have inside, with the universe that is inside us. So we had everything planned already. We can go anywhere we want to go, as long as you are able now to imagine it, because it's already there. All you have to do is just choose and imagine that you already are experiencing. yourself in that place. That's exactly how we teleport ourselves. That's how we quantum jump. We first do it inside us. It all happens. It's an inside job because it's already inside us. And somehow we look for it outside, and nothing there outside will do it for us. It will not. They will not help us. Because we already have created it the way we wanted to create it from inside us. So if there's something else that we need to see outside, we have to look again inside us that we need to manifest or create. That's why we are all creators, because we are all creating whatever we want to create. That's our divinity. That's our divine power. Exactly. That's who we are, living in heaven on earth. We never left heaven in the first place. That's the real thing. Because our soul was connected always with the source. The source is always there, connected with us. So we were never disconnected. It is just our choices that we make that disconnects us, apparently. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not exactly a disconnection because our soul is still um, uh, the one controlling us in terms of who we are. And the problem with us is we don't recognize our soul properly. A lot of times we forget that we have a soul, but it's our soul really that is experiencing who we are. It's just the body that it occupies at this point in time. But the body is just temporary, but the soul is eternal. So it's a soul really that is telling us, hey, this is what I want to experience here and now. It is our soul that came here in the first place in this world to experience that growth, that expansion, because it cannot do it in the spirit world. That's why it had to uh, be inside a body, inhabit a body, because it had to experience all the, I would say, the struggles that it had to experience, all the sufferings, all the problems, all the all the things that we need to undergo in this third dimension. But again, as I've said, we are not anymore in the third dimension. We have already ascended to the fifth dimension. And people still ask, why is it still the same? As I've said, the world outside is just a reflection of our world inside. But we are now in the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is not a physical world. It's really a spiritual thing that we need to understand. Now, when you say you are in the fifth dimension, this is where you are now able to experience your divinity, your divine powers, what you can do, knowing that you are already in 5D. You can teleport, intuition, what else? Creating, whatever. Of course, that's a given already, but we are now consciously creating exactly everything now that we can create. The, the happiness that we want is already there. We are also supposed to be aware now of the cycle that we're living in. We have just exited the Piscean age, and we are now living in the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is, wow, it's somehow similar to what exactly what we're talking about when we talk about the fifth dimension or the fifth density, because this is exactly where we are experiencing uh, this kind of uh, energy that really is different from the Piscean world that we experienced in the past. Because in the age of Aquarius, it's all about communication, it's all about intelligence, it's all about, well, spirituality. And this is exactly what we are now seeing in this. Technology is going to really further advance, but we are in control of it. Now our spirituality is on a higher level. Exactly, that's what's going to be experienced. And what? Well, the kind of life that is exactly heavenly. That's exactly what we're going to experience. So again, we have to understand this now in this context, not what our church or religion told us, that we are not going to experience all these things until we die. Imagine, we have to die for you to be able to experience heaven. But we are now experiencing heaven where we're still alive. That's why our program is called Heaven on Earth, because we are now really on in heaven. And in the first place, we never left heaven. We are just manifesting it now outside in our present world. All right, maybe you will. Oh, we're running out of time. You can actually add more things to what I've said.
Yes, three things that I have written down here. So just a reminder, if you can see it in your mind's eye, then you'll manifest it in your reality. So be careful of the thoughts that you're entertaining. It's usually it's negative. So that's why it's important to practice awareness and mindfulness. The other thing is this is hard. This is a hard lesson, accepting things, accepting people the way they are, accepting things, accepting reality as it is, not as we want it to be. That's a hard one, a hard life lesson to learn, but be intentional, and know that we are one. Okay. We are
Yeah,
one and we all
we
want to
are one. We're all
experience,
connected.
and we all want to experience things differently. So that's why there's conflict between families because not one person wants to experience something, another person wants to experience another. Again, we're here to experience things, and you have to accept that. You have to accept that, and we're all connected. So whatever it is that you're doing affects all of us in some way, shape, or form. Um, Sir Tato, I have that would a
Yeah.
question that would probably help a lot of people. So for those, because the way I'm able to um, manifest the reality that I want is through meditation. So
Yeah.
what can you advise people who does not meditate? Start
Well,
meditating.
that's where the problem lies. Because okay, when people in religion talk about really, I mean meditation, they talk about praying, saying
Hmm.
prayers. That's the
Yep.
only way they teach them.
Yeah.
But when you say you are meditating, you are actually having not just a conversation, because sometimes you don't have a conversation. You just let things be, yeah, dissolve. You're not thinking of anything. You're just erasing practically everything in your mind at the moment. So if you're able to do that for 5 minutes, well, good. I mean, it's hard, but because a lot of thoughts would really, just come in every now and then, and so you cannot avoid that. As a matter of fact, but then again, you have to discipline yourself, be able to really now let go of so many things, because again, it's really discipline in terms of how we are able to really meditate properly. Because if you don't do it regularly, that means you're not going to, I mean, you cannot going to experience it, because you have to find time for it. You really have to find time in the regular manner. Like for example, when I wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock, 5 to 9, practically that's all those hours are just for me, meditating, studying, uh, uh, conversing with myself, because a lot of times I talk to myself and to my guides as well. That's all the time I actually open myself to what's going to happen in my life, because they're guiding me. I ask for guidance at the time. And so at the start of the day is when I practically uh, program myself in that manner. Well, maybe another word from meditation, you program your mind, your your spiritual mind in such a way that you're able to concentrate on what you really would want, not you what you don't want. Because a lot of times we experience what we don't want because we just don't think anymore. We just let our subconscious do the living for us in terms of what it has inside us. And a lot of things inside our subconscious are negative experiences, traumas that had that were never processed or never, um, I would say, been given the kind of attention for it to be able to disappear in our life. Because if you don't deal with it and you just tell yourself, if you just deny it, it's just going to stay there. And if it's always there in your subconscious, that means it's the one running your life. And through meditation, that's exactly where you are able to uh, get those things from outside your subconscious mind and be able to face them, not deny them, but to face them squarely and tell yourself, no, not anymore. Enough of this. And that's it. Yeah, you can let go of those things. Because unless you are consciously able to do that, it's just going to control you. These are what controls you. What is not what you don't realize or what you are not aware of. That's why people think, I don't know what's wrong with me, because I try to pray, I try to become good, but sabi nga nila, there's a song in Tagalog. I actually recorded that, produced that, a rapper. Gusto kong bumait pero di ko magawa. Gusto kong bumait pero di ko magawa. Exactly, gusto mong bumait pero di mo magawa. Why? Because you're not able to get it right in terms of doing it correctly, like addressing it properly from the subconscious. Kaya nga, all the negative things are still there. Even if you try to be good, it will just overcome you still, the negative things. That's why a lot of people now that we see now in terms of what we have experienced, especially in the Senate. I mean, look at those people who have already gone to prison as a result of what they have been thinking in their minds. And now the consequence is punishment. You know, they tried to defend themselves. They said they were not guilty, but basically they were found guilty. And so now they are inside these prison cells. And who put them there? Nobody else except themselves.
Yep.
And they blame the government. They blame other people. They blame their enemies. See, this is how it works. People don't know. And then you say, oh, awa naman siya. I'm sorry for that person. Because why?
Did it to
We
themselves.
make our choices.
Mm-hmm.
We actually create it. We create all
Yep.
these things in our life. And so we thought we were able to get away from them. But there's a way of karma catching up with us.
Mm-hmm. there are different
So,
types of meditation that I just want to mention if people would take a look at that and see, because there's different types, and depending on what it is that you want, then whatever it is you resonate with, just at least try. But nobody can do this for you but you. Um, some things that just comes in mind is anapana, which is the breathing exercise meditation. There's heartfulness, there's mindfulness, and then the ones I do is vipassana. But anapana is very powerful because when you run into some challenges, it affects it's manifesting in your body. So when you react to those sensations, that's when the problem lies. So if you can train your mind, your subconscious mind, to just to not be reactive and to observe, that's very powerful. So just like what Sir Tato mentioned earlier, um, actually 19 to 95% of the time we're in autopilot. What that means is our unconscious mind is who's in charge. Okay. So in order for us to make the change, we need to reprogram our subconscious mind. And that's actually what Vipassana is. The Vipassana meditation does that. It's reprogramming your mind and observing your subconscious, and you can train it. So um, it's we're up an hour now, so I think this is it for today, Sir Tato.
okay.
Anything you wanna announce other than your book?
Well, yeah, my book is about to come out next week,
Hmm.
Galactic Testament, and definitely I'll be doing a lot of book launching in different places. So expect more announcements regarding that. I mean, I'm not exactly doing anything yet because I'm still waiting for the physical book to come out so that I can really show you how it looks like. Although I have already a picture of it, but since I'm not able to hold it physically here, I don't want to talk more about it yet.
Okay.
So by next week, I might be able to have that physical book. And also, well, come to our Kamalayan Cafe session. It's going to happen on July 31, Friday next week. So see you there. And actually, that might be also coinciding with my book launch. Uh, I'll
Good.
let you know. I mean, we'll still see each other next week. I mean, we'll still have another podcast next week. So you will have more announcements regarding this.
Okay. Wonderful.
So with that, I'd like to just, well, conclude this show, I mean, our podcast by saying that heaven on earth doesn't begin somewhere or somewhere else. It begins within each one of us. So until next time, be well, stay conscious, and keep creating heaven on earth.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and one last thing that I forgot. Since we're educating people about frequency, energy, and vibration, if you haven't tried the frequency healing device yet and get acquainted with the
Oh, yeah,
frequency healing device, get acquainted
Copy
because
Life
that would help you.
2019.
Yes, I'm a user and
Maybe next
is a
time we
user
will
too.
have a short advertisement that we can actually hear as to the benefits of it so that people will just get to be reminded always about the benefits that it can do to us.
Yes, absolutely.
So it can be
For for
programmed.
me, for me, it was my back and my knee problem, my joints,
Yeah,
that got
I mean,
healed. And
I
Sir
think
Tato,
you can create a video on that so that those who are able to watch us in YouTube and Facebook, they can watch the video. I mean, can see the how it looks like. But in Spotify, well, they can hear the benefits.
and I can leave the link
So
when
the
I
link, yeah,
post this in YouTube and in
right.
Spotify. and Facebook. All right.
Right.
Bye, everyone. Till next time. Be good.
Okay, bye. Thanks.